Okay, they just got here. This is Pixie's first time in the car.
That I can see over it now.
Yeah, you're not old lady in it?
I'm not old ladying it.
Look at that.
And the next one up is good.
The best part, though, is when it's all the way up, it won't hit the dash pad.
Yep.
So obviously, I didn't film all of this, but that is what I have done this week, is build this column and get rid of that nubbin and figure out how to make the horn button work, because the cancel cam for these isn't available. And yeah, this is pretty cool. Okay, I've been working on these for days. Just put another coat of color on. You can see that you can't even tell that that used to be there. And then I did clean that up. Start looking at that. This, I wound up stripping and starting over because I wasn't happy with it. But now it looks pretty good. So I'm pretty happy there. So I think one more coat of paint. Okay, you can see where the nub was. But you can't tell now. I'm going to call that pretty good. We'll give it a couple days to cure. And I think this is going to work nice. That. Look at that. Although I haven't gotten the horn thing to work right. Heidi's waving. So I'm still working out how the horn works. But, yeah. So, we got tilt. You can see she tilts way up. She tilts way down. Got a turn signal lever. What more do we want, right? Also, the lever we have for the cruise control won't work with this. So I've ordered the right thing, and then I'll show you on Sunday how that works. Okay, another thing that showed up today is he brought up the new switch. And we're getting ready because apparently there are electrically two variations of this switch. So we're getting ready to verify that this is an exact replacement for that. This is that adapter harness I made. So that way we can keep the GM 4.5. And you can see just how that works. And then after a little sleuthing on the internet, I figured out, you know, what the pins are here. So you're going to look here is our feed from the brake, you know, from the brake switch. Obviously left, right for the rear, left and right for the front. And then you would think this would be parking brake, but it really is supposed to be purple. And that wire is peculiar, because when you look at where cavity 16 is purple, that comes over to the turn signal switch. So that is the feed. You know, like I said, you don't think about it because you think it's going to be the brake one, but that's just an override only for the front two. That is the feed that gets switched to the left and right. And then this green wire is the horn, because the horn doesn't come through here. It's just its own self-terminated wire. So this way we break the horn out, which traditionally would be green, but in those cars it was brown. So I've got on the column now a connector to just plug into here. So we're going to go ahead and verify these real quick. We just did the same thing on the old one to verify it. So we're going from the turn signal switcher or flasher. So now he's going to go to the right. Okay, now he's going to go to the left. Okay, so they both work the same. So now he should be able to go to the brake, which is the yellow one. No, from the yellow one, or from the white one to the yellow one.
There you go.
Yeah, because remember, brake overrides both. So in any position, brake works. Now go back to brown and go to green. Now to yellow. So see, it works. I'm a little bored of this already. In the annals of, wow, that was harder than I thought it would be, we now have that switch installed. Luckily, we have a manual, or we would have definitely not lined it up. So I'm getting ready to verify that I have this working in every tilt. There's a spring set on here that as this tilts, it moves a little bit, and that's why the spring. So I'm going to test it, make sure it's all good, and we'll move on to the next thing. Okay. He is bundling up an awful lot of stereo stuff here because we'd like to kind of get the floor pretty much done. So what do you got here?
Yeah, so these are output from the stereo, front, back, and sub. This will go from under the dash all the way back under the floor to the sub and the amps that are back in the back. So we're working through all the different wiring harnesses. We're getting ready to zip these together, take them through the cabin, and then we'll bring speaker wires back to the front for the speakers that are going to be in the doors. The rear speakers are going to be in the back. It'll be a short wire, and then we'll get the sub wired up as well today.
He's monkeying with all of that. I am getting ready to mount everything for this guy. So we got our little kit out. We've got the new turn signal switch installed. That was easier said than done. You know, most things are. And we're trying to kind of get this portion of the floor ready for carpet. Okay. This has taken a couple minutes, but I now know what my spacer thicknesses need to be, so then I can pull all this out, start looking around and see if I can actually tack something to the back of that. Alright, I had to go get some batteries for the welding helmet because last time I welded I noticed my eyes were not happy. And coming in, it's like 35 degrees, so you know it's melting, which is good because it's too early for us to have good snow. Let's see, it looks like ShopDog's coming to say hello. They're in a compromising position here, fishing wires, learning how much fun this is.
It's a lot of fun.
And it looks like Jeff is supervising. Okay, he's crawling in, got a hole saw. These are those little grommets, you slice them and then you can pass things through. He's getting ready to find a spot he likes and run his speaker wires through. Okay, so threw a couple tacks down real quick. They're nothing pretty. And then we'll drill them through and grind them down. And then that's the thickness I'm shooting for here. So you can see I got a ways to go. But I think this is the best solution. Otherwise, you're always fighting a spacer. Okay, so they're working on all of this.
Got this cut here if you can see that.
Right there. Yeah, so he's got that for the grommet. Of course they do, because this car is so long, need some extension cables. You know, that's the downside to a car this size. We've been running into that with everything though.
So Aaron, this blue coax cable is 20 foot long and it barely makes it.
Yeah, no, what do you do? And then we're just replicating the driver's side on the passenger side. Coming up, get the service loop. I've got my little spacers on there sanded and down to the thickness I want. And now we're getting ready to locate where we're going to have to drill the hole for the shifter cable. That is my next thing. Okay. So, giant hole cut in the floor. We're pretty happy with how sturdy this is. We were able to get a new seal. You know, not sure if that would be correct for back then, but it's correct now. And yeah, this all comes back out. Okay, now they're really getting something going. And then the little bits of dynamite just to kind of hold it. I think this is going to look nice. We are trying to tidy up though, so we can at least start laying the carpet out, letting it relax. And then we happen to know that there's going to have to be some work because the carpet, of course, is for a four-door car, so it stops here. And of course, they need it to come back, so there's going to be some work there as well. Just a quick update. They've been back here working out speaker wiring. We've got some splices that I'm out of that we're going to order to make this a nicer job when they terminate to the connectors. But you can see this is where they're at right now. So those are what, the front speakers?
These are front speakers. And we marked driver's side here.
Hey, that's important information because you hate playing the plug it in, plug it in, plug it in game. Plug it, cut it, move it.
Did you see everything tacked down on the floor?
Yeah, I showed them that a little bit ago. But you can see how we've got everything laying in here. And what we think we want to do next, now that it's mostly tidy in here, is go ahead and lay the carpets in here and let those start relaxing. So I know I mentioned it a minute ago about we're going to have to add material here. So you can see, now we're getting happy. So now it's time to let that relax a little bit. We know you get a little dirty, you know, test fit things and move things. But the black is really going to make everything else pop. Especially all the effort he went through to get the chrome pedal cover or outlines. That's going to be worth it because it'll really shine against that. So, no, we're going to let this relax for a little while. Right. Another Sunday has passed. You'd never even tell that that was a column shift originally. Nice tilt. Everything that we can test works. We're starting to kind of get things relaxed. That vent is installed. I haven't installed this vent yet because I got to be able to get up in there. But yeah, we're pretty happy with everything that's happened. We're not cutting any holes in the carpet for the seat belts or the console yet. We're just going to let it relax. It's been my experience that if you don't give it a week or two to sit, you're going to cut a hole, and then there's always going to be either a tight spot or a wrinkle. So gravity is your friend sometimes. And you know, we've done a little bit of tidying, but nothing crazy. It's not as big a mess as it was. I'm still really, really happy that we were able to make this work. So we've got, you know, we just tack welded some nuts on here and, you know, ground them down to the thickness we needed. Seemed like the cheapest, simplest way to do it. And you saw earlier, it worked. So Kevin was able to convince the lady at Shitworks to sell one of these, because apparently those are actually kind of difficult to get. But we just didn't need a whole cable. You know, it works fine. And we weren't sure that anything on the aftermarket would actually be the correct cable for this application. So that's going to work. He's gotten a lot done back here. Of course, you can't see it. You know, that's the beauty of anything that's happening, is you're not supposed to be able to see that it's happening. One of the things we've got to work out, because he wants to have the rear speakers be removable in little pods. We've got to figure out where we're going to put the phono jacks for that. We haven't figured that out yet. So the rear speakers, he wants to be able to unplug them and put them away when he's at car shows or anything. So I guess at this point, all I could say is look how nice that steering wheel looks. Thanks for watching.